The nation's largest commercial hospital chain is under assault again. Tomorrow, 3 executives from one of Columbia Healthcare's Florida hospitals will appear in court to answer charges of cheating the government out of more than $1 million at the hospital that they managed. And federal officials tell ABC News that employees at the parent company may face criminal charges as well. The issue here is pretty stark. Does Columbia lie to make a buck? And do patients suffer as a result? Here's ABC's Brian Ross.
It is one of the biggest criminal investigations of an American corporation ever.
We're executing a search warrant.
In the past few months, hundreds of federal agents have raided at least 70 of Columbia's hospitals and offices in 7 states. What's involved are allegations, denied by Columbia, that the company was in such a headlong rush to increase profits that cheating and fraud became an accepted and expected way of doing business. In particular, investigators say the company may have overbilled the government by hundreds of millions of dollars for treating patients covered under the Medicare and Medicaid programs. Mark Gardner is a former Columbia Hospital vice president.
The greed that I experienced in Columbia is the type of greed that can bring down the Medicare system.
Gardner, who agreed to be interviewed by ABC News for an upcoming report on 2020, says he and other Columbia executives routinely ripped off Medicare.
The bottom line is make the money and let the government figure out what's wrong with the Medicare system.
But you were cheating Medicare, right?
So be it.
So be it?
Yeah.
Columbia has denied the fraud allegations, but its chairman, Rick Scott, and 5 other top corporate executives have resigned. And federal investigators told ABC News today that Scott is now considered a prime target of the investigation. Scott could not be reached for comment. The man who replaced Scott as chairman, Thomas Frist, who had been vice chairman, has promised to change policies and cooperate with prosecutors. But Frist still defends the way Columbia has done business.
Rick Scott and the people in this company have conducted themselves with the highest integrity.
Columbia treats 125,000 people a day at more than 300 hospitals around the country. And questions are now being raised about whether its drive for huge profits also has affected the quality of medical care. Columbia says it has not, but former executive Gardner says drastic cutbacks in staff led to medical mistakes and even death.
We work for shareholders.
Shareholders.
We work for people who own stock, and patients are secondary.
Over the last decade, Columbia has made its stockholders and executives rich with its aggressive bottom-line approach to running hospitals. Its advertising slogan proudly proclaims, "Healthcare has never worked like this before." Federal investigators say, based on what they're finding at Columbia, that is all too true. Brian Ross, ABC News, New York.